Hello, my name is Natalie. Welcome to my channel. I am a small business cottage bakery owner in remote Alaska. I have a family of 4 children and my husband, and we are missionaries. And so if you like Jesus and bread and all things homemade as much as I can show you, come follow me. I'd love to help you learn. All right, so if you have stayed this far, thank you. Maybe you've heard about sourdough, you're ready to get started, you have no clue how to get started. But you don't really want to get a starter from somebody else. You want to make your own starter. I've heard that a lot of times, that women just want to have something to accomplish and create their own starter. They enjoy it, creating something themselves from scratch, which is perfectly understandable. I'm the same way. I want to do an experiment while we're learning. A lot of people ask me about different types of flours and stuff. So you do need unbleached flour. You have to use unbleached flour for your sourdough. The bleaching process will kill out any of the bacteria that you're trying to create with your sourdough. You can get something going, but it's not going to be what it's supposed to be. So you want to use unbleached flour, and you want to use filtered water, but you have to be careful. You don't want to, if you live in the city and you have tap water, you want to make sure that there's not chlorine in the tap water. If you have a filter on or something, something like that would be great. Do not use distilled water. Hard water can be tough to use. It is possible, but it's tough. But just know that where you're living, your climate, different things can have different effects on it. So where I live in remote Alaska in a rainforest environment may be totally different than somebody that lives in Arizona. And so if you're seeking for advice in your area, I can help you some, but maybe try to ask people that live close to you that have done sourdough and the struggles that they faced and have overcome. So just a word of advice on that. So on the topic of flour, this is the flour that I use. King Arthur bread flour is, in my opinion, top notch. I would highly recommend it. I have to get it shipped in where I'm at. They don't sell it in the stores. But this to me is the best quality bread flour. My sourdough starters will triple instead of double with King Arthur bread flour. And then the second flour that I use is Kirkland all-purpose flour, and it's, you can see, organic, unbleached. Also pay attention to the protein percentage on the bags. This one says 11.5, but I have been, I've read up on it, and a lot of professional bread makers will use this because it actually has a higher protein content than what it advertises. So it is actually used more like a bread flour than an all-purpose flour. But regardless, it's a very good flour. And like I said, I get it, I think I said that, I get it from Costco. This one you will see, it says 12.7, which, sorry, it's backwards, but it's 12.7% protein. So that's why it's that much better. Sourdough loves the protein. So then when for wheat, I mill my own wheat. And I have grains like this that I mill, and we can discuss that at a later date. But I mill it to flour like this, whole grain. It would be considered an all-purpose flour because there's nothing added to it, nothing taken away from it. But when I use this in sourdough, it really struggles to rise because it doesn't have the protein in it. So I want to do a test while we're creating a starter from scratch. I'm going to go day by day and create a starter for you. But while I'm doing that, I want you to see the different flours and how they work with sourdough and how they become a sourdough starter themselves. So in this video, you will see the King Arthur unbleached bread flour. You will see the Kirkland all-purpose unbleached flour, and you'll also see my freshly milled wheat. And hopefully by the end of it, we'll have several different outcomes that we can look at and compare them to and see how they do. Okay. So for day one, we are going to start with a tablespoon measurement. Also, I wanted to show you these jars. I got these on Amazon, and they come with these little bonnets that I call it a bonnet, that you can put on top, or a sealed lid, which is really handy if once your starter is mature, you want to stick it in the refrigerator. It would screw on. Really awesome. And it also has a temperature gauge on the side, and it has these bands that you can take it, and you can see the measurement, hopefully with the light. It'll show you, so say if I fed my starter and it's to 300, I can watch it and see if it gets up to 600 and doubles or more. and then fall back down. You can kind of keep an eye on it. And when you're first starting out, to me, that was really, really helpful. This came in a pack of 2, and I'll try to link it down below. I'm very new to this. But you can also do last fed on. So today is Friday. I can say I fed it Friday at, like, you know, it'd be 12:36, but I could put it in between there. Last fed on Friday at 1 p.m. And then I would know the next time, you know, when I fed it. So that helps to keep up with it. If you are a busy mom like I am and get distracted easily, that really helped me. So like I said, I'll link those down below, and if you're interested in that, you can check it out. So I'm going to start this one with the Kirkland All-Purpose Flour. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. So 1, 2. It does not have to be exact. Don't worry about that. And while I've got my tablespoon out, I'm going to go ahead and put all the flours in each one. So that was the Kirkland All-Purpose. Now we are going to do the King Arthur bread flour. 1, 2. Okay. And then I only have 2 of those jars, so I had to wash out this one. Also, on that note, if you have to wash out a jar, especially if you're about to start a brand new starter, make sure that you get any hint of soap residue or anything else that might have been in the jar out. You want it to be very clean and sterile, because the soap can kill the bacteria that you're trying to get started. And this one is going to be our freshly milled wheat, whole grain wheat. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of that. 1, 2. And no, I'm not washing this in between each. It is not that finicky. It'll be okay. But I did do the wheat last because I didn't want wheat in my other ones. So, all right, so we got the all-purpose, the bread flour, and the wheat. All right, so now let's add water. Slightly warm water. It doesn't need to be hot, but warm is appreciated by sourdough starter. So let's do 2 tablespoons of that. 1, 2. It's the all-purpose. 1, 2 into the bread flour. And then 1, 2 into the wheat. All right, so now we're gonna mix it. I got this. This also came with the kit, I believe. Actually, I believe this came with my Banneton basket kit, and I will link that down below too. It came with everything that you need to get started. You can see kind of what it looks like here. It came with everything you need to get started with Banneton basket, the cover for it, a lathe to score your bread with, a little bit of everything. It was really handy. So you can see this is kind of making like a paste. It'll be a little thick, a little odd. I mean, it's just flour and water, and that's it. That is all that a sourdough starter is flour and water. Okay. All right. Now I am going to wash this in between each of the feeds, just so they don't mix up a lot. But that looks good. I think I got all the clumps out. So I'm just going to kind of scrape my sides to get it all down to the bottom. All right. There's the all-purpose flour. Now I'm going to go wash this, and I'll come back. I have rinsed off my spatula. So now I'm going to go to the bread flour. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Scraping around the sides, make sure it's all incorporated well. Hopefully you can see that okay. Alright, it's getting pretty good. It's kind of making a paste. So right now we're just doing even portions, flour and water. As we go along, I like to do a little bit less water as it becomes actual starter. I like to have a little bit thicker of a starter, but some people continue to do equal portions. So it's really up to you and your area of the country you live at and how it works out for you. All right, so there's that one. scraping my sides and the last bit off there. Okay, now I'm going to go rinse my spatula. All right, and last but not least is our freshly milled wheat. You can see the texture difference in this wheat, hopefully. You can see how much grainier it is, and that it will kind of keep that throughout this whole process. Wheat is just a different beast to work with, especially freshly milled that hasn't been. It's great for you, so healthy. But as far as sourdough starter, I mean, you can tell, see how much thicker it is, how much more dense. Like, this will make a ball. So it just is harder to work with, and you'll see as we go along, it just won't rise as much as the rest of them and stuff. But we will still do the experiment just for visual effects and let you see it. A lot of times it's fun to see things visually instead of just reading about it. So there you go. There is our wheat starter. You can see, look how much different it is. It's like a clump. All right, and the exact same thing in all three of these. So we got the Kirkland all-purpose, the King Arthur bread flour, and then freshly milled wheat. And I believe that is my red wheat also. Okay, so that is it for today. We will come back tomorrow and check on these and feed them again. You can do it every 12 hours if you want to. I'm a little late in the day. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I will not be getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning to feed these. If you're that dedicated and want to, you can, absolutely. A lot of times I will recommend to feed them about every 12 hours, but it's really okay every 24, every 18, somewhere between 12 and 24 hours is great. And when you start noticing a lot of activity in your starter, then you can definitely go down to every 24 hours. Once your starter is mature and growing and doubling every time, it's okay to be refrigerated at that point. It's okay to use as discard in discard recipes. But up until then, you need to wait. And so we're going to see how many days it takes these to grow and double and become mature starter. See you next time.